Welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most powerful tools Stoicism offers, the ability to transform stress into strength. In a world that feels increasingly chaotic, stress is inevitable. But what if I told you that stress doesn't have to be your enemy? What if, instead of breaking you, it could make you stronger, wiser, and more resilient? That's exactly what we'll explore today. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy practiced by great minds like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, teaches us that stress, or what we perceive as stress, is not the problem. The problem is how we respond to it. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding of how to use Stoic principles to turn life's pressures into opportunities for growth. So, let's begin. But first, let's take a moment to understand what stress really is. From a Stoic perspective, stress is not an external force but an internal reaction. It's our judgment about events, not the events themselves, that causes us to feel stressed. This is a crucial distinction because it means we have the power to change how we experience stress. And that's where Stoicism comes in. Lesson 1. Understanding stress through a Stoic lens. Before we can transform stress, we need to understand it. The Stoics believed that our emotions, including stress, are not caused by external events, but by our judgments about those events. Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Let me give you an example. Imagine you're stuck in traffic. You're late for an important meeting and your stress levels are rising. The Stoic approach would be to ask yourself, can I control this situation? If the answer is no, and in this case it is, then stressing about it only adds to your suffering. Instead, you can choose to accept the situation and focus on what you can control, your reaction. This is the core of Stoic wisdom, distinguishing between what's within your control and what's not. When you internalize this principle, stress begins to lose its power over you. But let's go deeper. Why do we feel stressed in the first place? Often, it's because we're attached to specific outcomes. We want things to go a certain way, and when they don't, we feel frustrated, anxious, or overwhelmed. The Stoics call this attachment to externals. They believed that true peace comes from detaching ourselves from outcomes and focusing instead on our own actions and attitudes. For example, let's say you're preparing for a job interview. You might feel stressed because you're attached to the outcome, getting the job. But from a Stoic perspective, the only thing within your control is how well you prepare and how you present yourself during the interview. The outcome, whether you get the job or not, is beyond your control. By shifting your focus to what you can control, you reduce your stress and increase your chances of success. This doesn't mean you shouldn't care about the outcome. It simply means you should focus your energy on what you can influence and let go of the rest. This is the essence of the Stoic approach to stress. Lesson 2. The Stoic Toolkit for transforming stress. Now that we understand the Stoic perspective on stress, let's dive into practical tools you can use to transform it into strength. These are techniques that have been tested for centuries, and they're just as relevant today as they were in ancient Rome. Technique 1. Negative visualization. Negative visualization is the practice of imagining the worst-case scenario. This might sound counterintuitive, but it's incredibly powerful. By mentally preparing for challenges, you reduce their emotional impact when they occur. For example, let's say you're worried about losing your job. Instead of letting that fear consume you, take a moment to visualize what it would actually look like. What steps would you take to find a new job? How would you adapt? By confronting the fear head-on, you take away its power to stress you out. But negative visualization isn't just about preparing for the worst. It's also about cultivating gratitude. When you imagine losing what you have, you develop a deeper appreciation for it. This shift in perspective can help you feel more content and less stressed in your daily life. Technique 2. The dichotomy of control. We touched on this earlier, but let's go deeper. The dichotomy of control is about categorizing everything in your life into two buckets: things you can control and things you can't. When you feel stressed, ask yourself, is this within my control? If it is, take action. If it isn't, let it go. For instance, if you're stressed about an upcoming exam, focus on what you can control: studying, getting enough sleep, and eating well. Let go of what you can't control, like the difficulty of the questions or the mood of the examiner. But the dichotomy of control isn't just a mental exercise, it's a way of life. By consistently applying this principle, you can reduce your stress and increase your sense of agency. You'll start to see that many of the things that stress you out are beyond your control, and that's okay. What matters is how you respond. Technique 3. Amor Fati, love your fate. Amor Fati means loving whatever happens to you, even the difficult things. This doesn't mean you have to enjoy suffering, but rather that you accept it as part of life's journey. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow. Think of a time when something didn't go your way. Maybe you didn't get the promotion you wanted. Instead of dwelling on the disappointment, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to become stronger? This shift in perspective turns stress into a teacher. Amor Fati is about embracing life as it is, not as you wish it to be. It's about finding meaning in every experience, whether good or bad. When you adopt this mindset, stress becomes less about suffering and more about growth. Technique 4. Journaling. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius were avid journalers. Writing down your thoughts helps you process emotions and gain clarity. When you're feeling stressed, try writing about it. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What's within my control? What's the next step? Journaling is like having a conversation with yourself, and it's a powerful way to transform stress into actionable insights. But journaling isn't just about venting, it's about reflecting on your experiences and learning from them. By regularly journaling, you can track your progress, identify patterns, and develop a deeper understanding of yourself. Technique 5. Mindfulness and presence. Stoicism and mindfulness go hand in hand. Both practices emphasize the importance of being present and fully engaged in the moment. When you're feeling stressed, take a moment to ground yourself in the present. Focus on your breath, your surroundings, or the task at hand. This simple practice can help you break free from the cycle of stress and regain your sense of calm. Mindfulness also helps you become more aware of your thoughts and emotions. By observing them without judgment, you can gain a clearer understanding of what's causing your stress and how to address it. Technique 6. Virtue as the highest good. The Stoics believed that virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance is the highest good. When you align your actions with these virtues, you can navigate stress with integrity and purpose. For example, if you're facing a difficult decision, ask yourself, what would a wise person do? What would a courageous person do? By focusing on virtue, you can make decisions that are in line with your values and reduce the stress that comes from uncertainty or doubt. Technique 7. The view from above. The Stoics practiced a technique called the view from above, where they would imagine looking down on their lives from a cosmic perspective. This helps you see the bigger picture and realize that many of the things that stress you out are small in the grand scheme of things. For example, if you're stressed about a work deadline, imagine looking down on the Earth from space. From this perspective, your deadline is just a tiny blip in the vastness of time and space. This doesn't mean your work isn't important, but it can help you put things in perspective and reduce your stress. Technique 8. Gratitude. Practice. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to stress. Each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. This shifts your focus from what's going wrong to what's going right. For example, if you're feeling stressed about your finances, take a moment to appreciate the things you do have: your health, your relationships, your abilities. By cultivating gratitude, you can reduce your stress and increase your sense of well-being. Technique 9. Embracing discomfort. Finally, challenge yourself to step outside your comfort zone. Whether it's taking a cold shower or having a difficult conversation, embracing discomfort builds resilience. Remember, stress is not the enemy, it's an opportunity to grow. For example, if you're nervous about public speaking, volunteer to give a presentation. By facing your fear, you'll build confidence and reduce your stress in the long run. Lesson 3. Real-life examples of Stoic resilience. Let's look at some real-life examples of people who used Stoic principles to turn stress into strength. Principle. James Stockdale. The Stoic prisoner of war. James Stockdale was a US Navy pilot who was captured during the Vietnam War. He spent 7 years as a prisoner of war, enduring torture and isolation. How did he survive? By practicing Stoicism. Stockdale later said that Epictetus's teachings were his lifeline. He focused on what he could control, his attitude and his actions, and accepted what he couldn't. His story is a testament to the power of Stoic resilience. Principle 2. Nelson Mandela, forgiveness and Amor Fati. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison, yet he emerged without bitterness. He practiced a form of Amor Fati, accepting his circumstances and using them to fuel his fight for justice. Mandela once said, "The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall." This is Stoicism in action. Principle 3. Everyday Stoics. You don't have to be a war hero or a world leader to practice Stoicism. Think about a single parent juggling work and childcare. By focusing on what they can control, providing love and stability for their children, they transform the stress of their situation into strength. Or consider a student facing academic pressure. By using the dichotomy of control, they can focus on studying and let go of the fear of failure. Principle 4. The Stoic athletes often face immense pressure to perform, but many use Stoic principles to stay focused and resilient. For example, a runner might use negative visualization to prepare for a race, imagining everything that could go wrong and how they would handle it. By mentally preparing for challenges, they reduce their stress and increase their chances of success. Principle. The Stoic entrepreneurs face constant uncertainty and stress. But by practicing Stoicism, they can navigate these challenges with confidence. For example, an entrepreneur might use the dichotomy of control to focus on building their business and let go of market fluctuations. By aligning their actions with Stoic virtues, they can make decisions that are in line with their values and reduce their stress. Principle 6. The Stoic parenting is one of the most stressful jobs in the world. But by practicing Stoicism, parents can transform this stress into strength. For example, a parent might use Amor Fati to accept the challenges of raising a child and find meaning in the experience. By focusing on what they can control, their own actions and attitudes, they can reduce their stress and be more present for their children. Principle. The Stoic students face immense pressure to succeed academically. But by practicing Stoicism, they can navigate this pressure with resilience. For example, a student might use negative visualization to prepare for exams, imagining the worst-case scenario and how they would handle it. By focusing on what they can control, studying and preparing, they can reduce their stress and increase their chances of success. Principle 8. The Stoic leaders face constant pressure to make decisions and manage teams, but by practicing Stoicism, they can navigate this pressure with confidence. For example, a leader might use the dichotomy of control to focus on their own actions and let go of external factors. By aligning their decisions with Stoic virtues, they can lead with integrity and reduce their stress. Principle. The Stoic caregivers face immense stress in taking care of others. But by practicing Stoicism, they can transform this stress into strength. For example, a caregiver might use Amor Fati to accept the challenges of their role and find meaning in the experience. By focusing on what they can control, their own actions and attitudes, they can reduce their stress and be more present for those they care for. Principle 10. The Stoic artists face constant pressure to create and perform. But by practicing Stoicism, they can navigate this pressure with resilience. For example, an artist might use negative visualization to prepare for a performance, imagining everything that could go wrong and how they would handle it. By mentally preparing for challenges, they reduce their stress and increase their chances of success. Lesson 4. Practical steps to start transforming stress today. Now that we've explored the theory and seen real-life examples, let's talk about how you can start applying these principles today. Principle 1. Morning reflection. Start your day with a Stoic reflection. Ask yourself, what challenges might I face today? How can I respond to them with wisdom and courage? This simple practice sets the tone for the day and helps you approach stress with a clear mind. Principle 2. Evening review. At the end of the day, take a few minutes to reflect. Ask yourself, what went well? What could I have handled better? This isn't about self-criticism, but about learning and growing. Principle 3. Practice gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to stress. Each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. This shifts your focus from what's going wrong to what's going right. Principle 4. Embrace discomfort. Finally, challenge yourself to step outside your comfort zone. Whether it's taking a cold shower or having a difficult conversation, embracing discomfort builds resilience. Remember, stress is not the enemy. It's an opportunity to grow. Principle 5. Journaling. Make journaling a daily habit. Use it to reflect on your experiences, process your emotions, and gain clarity. By regularly journaling, you can track your progress, identify patterns, and develop a deeper understanding of yourself. Principle 6. Mindfulness and presence. Incorporate mindfulness into your daily routine. Take a few minutes each day to focus on your breath, your surroundings, or the task at hand. This simple practice can help you break free from the cycle of stress and regain your sense of calm. Principle 7. Virtue as the highest good. Align your actions with Stoic virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. When faced with a difficult decision, ask yourself, what would a wise person do? What would a courageous person do? By focusing on virtue, you can make decisions that are in line with your values and reduce your stress. Principle 8. The view from above practice. The view from above. Imagine looking down on your life from a cosmic perspective. This helps you see the bigger picture and realize that many of the things that stress you out are small in the grand scheme of things. Principle 9. Negative visualization. Use negative visualization to prepare for challenges. Imagine the worst-case scenario and how you would handle it. By mentally preparing for challenges, you reduce their emotional impact and increase your resilience. Principle 10. Amor Fati, embrace Amor Fati. Accept whatever happens to you as part of life's journey. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow. By adopting this mindset, you can transform stress into strength. Lesson 5. Let's now look at how these Stoic techniques manifest in real life. The Stoic athlete. Imagine a professional athlete preparing for a championship game. The pressure is immense, a crowd of thousands, expectations from coaches and fans, and the weight of personal ambition. Instead of succumbing to anxiety, the athlete practices negative visualization, envisioning every possible misstep, from a missed shot to an unexpected injury. Through this mental rehearsal, they build a reserve of calm, ready to confront any adversity on the field. When game day arrives, their prepared mind translates stress into focus, enabling peak performance under pressure. The corporate leader. Consider a corporate leader tasked with steering a company through turbulent economic times. Facing market volatility and internal discord, this leader turns to Stoicism. By clearly distinguishing between what they can control, the strategies, team morale, and day-to-day operations, and what they cannot, the whims of the market, the leader is able to make rational decisions. This clarity not only helps in resolving immediate crises, but also inspires the entire organization to adopt a culture of resilience and proactive problem-solving. The everyday warrior. Finally, picture an everyday individual, a parent balancing work, home, and personal aspirations. Daily challenges abound, unexpected disruptions, emotional outbursts, and the relentless demands of modern life. By applying Stoic practices like mindful reflection and cognitive reframing, this person learns to see each challenge as a chance to grow. Instead of allowing stress to accumulate, they embrace it as part of their journey, turning every setback into an opportunity for inner development. These examples remind us that the wisdom of Stoicism is not reserved for ancient philosophers or high-profile figures. It is a practical, living philosophy that can empower anyone, no matter their circumstances, to transform stress into a powerful ally. As you begin to integrate these practices into your life, notice how your inner transformation radiates outward. A calm and resilient mind doesn't just benefit you, it positively influences your relationships, your work, and your community. When you respond to challenges with measured thought rather than reactive emotion, you become a beacon of stability in a turbulent world. Your journey of transforming stress into strength can inspire others. Perhaps a colleague observes your calm demeanor during a crisis, or a friend is moved by your thoughtful reflections shared over coffee. Each act of inner transformation creates ripples that over time spread far beyond your immediate circle. Remember, the strength you cultivate is not just for your own benefit, it is a gift you can share with the world. As we near the end of our time together, I invite you to reflect on the insights we have explored. Life is an ever-changing journey filled with both challenges and triumphs. The Stoic approach reminds us that while we may not control the events around us, we always have the power to choose our responses. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This timeless insight tells us that every hardship we face is not a barrier, but an opportunity, a chance to build strength, develop virtue, and redefine what it means to truly live. Take a moment now to think about one area of your life where stress has been holding you back. Visualize how, by applying these Stoic principles, acceptance, reflection, and focused action, you might transform that stress into a source of power and growth. Allow this vision to motivate you as you move forward. I encourage you to experiment with the techniques we've discussed today. Whether it's through daily journaling, mindful meditation, or simply pausing to reflect on what you can truly control, remember that every small step contributes to a larger transformation. Embrace your stress as a teacher and let it guide you toward a life of inner strength and serenity. Thank you for joining me on this journey into Stoicism. May the wisdom of the ancients empower you to turn every challenge into an opportunity for personal evolution. If you found these insights valuable, please consider subscribing, sharing your thoughts in the comments, and joining our community of seekers who are transforming stress into strength, one mindful step at a time. As we close, remember that this is only the beginning. The path to inner resilience is ongoing, a continuous process of learning, reflection, and growth. Carry these practices with you and let the spirit of Stoicism infuse your every day with calm, clarity, and unwavering strength. Until next time, stay strong, remain centered, and remember, within you lies the power to transform stress into the very foundation of your strength.